Apple's Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pro and iPad Air is a very nice piece of design. This hinge design and the magnetic attachment makes it look like your iPad is floating, and what's not to like about that? It's not just a great stand though, it folds up to protect your iPad. You've got a backlit keyboard, there's a trackpad, and even a dedicated charging port. So, lots of reasons then to rush out and buy one. Except that I can think of about 349 reasons why you might not want to. Yes, that's right, this 12.9-inch Magic Keyboard is an eye-watering $349, or £329 for UK buyers. The 11-inch model is cheaper, but it's still $299 or £279. And that's a ridiculous amount for a keyboard case. And whilst we're talking about those two sizes, there's simply no way that the slightly larger one costs $50 more to make. But of course, Apple isn't pricing these based on the component and manufacturing cost, adding a sensible markup. No, what they're doing is pricing the Magic Keyboard based on the value that it brings to the user. Value-based pricing is nothing new, and nor is it unique to Apple. And we could debate for hours whether or not it's a fair way to do things. But instead, let's take a look at the Magic Keyboard. I'll show you what I like about it and what I don't, and then we'll come back to that value proposition. The unit itself is finished in a soft touch synthetic coating, and it feels really comfortable in use. It does tend to trap fine dust though, and because of this coating you can't just wipe it down with a dry microfiber towel. Now, I've deliberately not cleaned mine before doing this shoot, so maybe you'll see what I mean in the close-ups. Now, the edge of this keyboard has something I don't like. These seams that sort of stick out. They're a bit uncomfortable when you catch them on your hand. I expect that they offer some very light additional protection for your iPad, but it just feels a bit cheap considering the price point of this device. Now, I previously used a Logitech Slim Folio Pro, such as I have here, and I'll be referring to this in the video. It's not a direct competitor of this Magic Keyboard because it doesn't have the trackpad, but it is less than a third of the price, and it's finished much better than the Magic Keyboard. No ugly seams on this one. When it comes to the typing experience, the Magic Keyboard behaves like a good laptop keyboard. It offers a very good typing experience, arguably better than Apple's laptop keyboards. I personally find it a little bit noisy, and again, if you compare it to this Logitech keyboard here, I don't think it's quite as good. And it also doesn't have any function keys, which I think is a bit of an oversight. I use the function keys on my Logitech keyboard quite a lot, and actually I thought I would really miss them. It's convenient to be able to adjust volume, screen brightness and the keyboard backlight, or to be able to lock the screen with just one press, or use a home button. But the truth is you don't actually need these things, and I've missed them a lot less than I thought I would. You've obviously got your volume buttons on your iPad and a lock button. Adjusting screen brightness is easy enough, and of course you can do all of these tasks without touching your iPad, thanks to the trackpad in the Magic Keyboard. Still, it'd be nice to have the choice, and there is plenty of space here to have that extra row of keys. We mentioned the backlight for the keyboard. There's no control over the brightness, or even whether the keyboard is illuminated or not, at least as far as I've seen. But fortunately the lighting is self-adjusting, and it's always nice and clear. So all in all, it's a very good keyboard, especially with the addition of this trackpad. Now, if you haven't tried a trackpad with the iPad yet, I do recommend giving it a go because it adds a new dimension to using your tablet. The trackpad here is quite small, especially when compared to the one you find on a MacBook, but it's big enough, and in fact I've never found myself wishing for it to be bigger when I've been using this device. The trackpad works very much as you'd expect for gestures, and it feels intuitive. And being able to select text and position the cursor is a massive improvement for general office tasks. The trackpad has a nice click to it, but you can also switch on tap to click if you prefer that. Now, let's be clear here. This doesn't offer all of the functionality of the pointer in macOS, but it does bring enough functionality. And we'll cycle back to this thought in a moment. But first of all though, let's talk about this hinge. It offers a fairly limited range of viewing angles. I think it could do with a few more degrees of movement. But that said, I've been very happy with the angles it does offer, and there's only been a few moments where I thought it could have used more range. I found this works really well on a desk, and it's fine to use in your lap as well. But there's no way to fold this flat with the screen facing up and use the iPad with your pencil. You've actually got to remove the iPad from the stand, but fortunately that's very easy to do. The magnets are strong enough that the iPad never feels insecure, but they're not so strong that removing it becomes difficult. Great piece of design. On the left side of the hinge is a dedicated charging port. Once your iPad is mounted, its port faces over to the right. So this means now that you can charge your iPad from either side, and that is hugely convenient. It also means that you can charge the iPad via the Magic Keyboard and then use the iPad's onboard port for an external drive. Very useful, and perhaps means one dongle less to carry around with you. Once you close the case up, it covers your iPad quite well, but it's not going to protect it properly if you drop it. And there's also no additional security here for the pencil, which can be knocked off and lost quite easily. Again, this Logitech case I think is superior in this respect. It's got its rubber bumpers to protect the iPad and the flap that goes over the top to keep your pencil intact. The fit for the Magic Keyboard is very nice. According to Apple, if you've got the original Magic Keyboard and you put one of the new 5th generation iPad Pros on it, the fit when it's closed isn't completely perfect. So I suspect there's a tiny difference in the size of the revised version. Now I can't test this as I don't have a 1st generation Magic Keyboard. This is the latest one. And I don't have my 5th generation iPad Pro yet. Apple shipped out the Magic Keyboard first, and so I'm just using it with my 3rd generation iPad Pro. And as you can see, the fit is fine, so it must be a very small size difference. So the Magic Keyboard is a nice piece of design, and it works really well. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it is very, very good. Does it justify that high price tag? Well, it does make your iPad more versatile as a computer. It makes it comfortable and easy to do real work on it, and it blurs the lines between iPad and laptop. But let's be clear, it's not going to turn your iPad into a MacBook. Maybe that's something that will happen in the future, but for now, we still have the limitations of iPad OS. But for many computer users, the iPad and its OS, it's more than capable enough. And the addition of this stand, this keyboard, this trackpad, well, it brings enough of the good stuff from a full laptop experience to make the iPad a real contender as your only computer. Now true, you can get much of this experience from other third-party products too. You can connect any Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and there are plenty of stands available. The Magic Keyboard though combines all of these things in a beautiful design that's perfectly matched to your iPad. Here's something else that I noticed. Apple like to describe the iPad as a magical piece of glass. And when you look at this super thin iPad Pro, that seems like a fair statement. And the thing is, we go and buy these amazing looking devices, and the first thing we do is put them in an ugly protective case. With the Magic Keyboard, you enjoy the thin profile of the iPad because you can see it. And when you take it off the stand, you hold it in all its naked glory. And I like that. Something else that I like is having a clean device, and my iPad stays cleaner because I'm using this trackpad more rather than touching the screen. So the Magic Keyboard has the effect of making my 2-year-old iPad look and feel shiny and new. And that brings me to my main point on value. In truth, there's no way I would have gone out and bought a Magic Keyboard if it weren't for this channel and if it weren't for the announcement of the M1 chip going into the 5th generation iPad Pro. The price just doesn't make any sense when you look at this as a conventional keyboard case. Now for me, I want to see if I can use an iPad instead of a laptop, and the Magic Keyboard is an excellent accessory for that purpose. And I also wanted to review that new iPad on the channel, so I figured I'd buy it and get the Magic Keyboard to go with it. And I plan to test the keyboard and review it on the channel and then put it on eBay afterwards to sell it. The Magic Keyboard has given my old iPad a new lease of life, to the point in fact where I almost cancelled my order for the new iPad. Almost. Of course I didn't cancel my order because I want to review that iPad on the channel. But it did get me to thinking, if you consider the cost of upgrading the iPad for the new model, and then look at the actual benefit you get from that upgrade and what it costs, compare that with the benefit you get from adding a Magic Keyboard to your existing iPad and the cost. It makes you stop and think. Because the simple truth is that I could have saved a ton of money and improved my existing iPad for just $349. And in that context, it almost seems like good value. Maybe not. I tried. I know one thing though, I won't be putting this Magic Keyboard on eBay. This is a keeper. It really improves the iPad experience. So let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to see the new M1 iPad content and much more besides, you know where to click. And hopefully I did enough today to earn a thumbs up, or not, but in any case, I hope to see you again soon for some more geekery.